Alrighty, folks, what is up? This is the halftime show. And so Maryville is leading Chesterton 16 to 6. So let's break it down a little bit. Let's start with Chesterton. So Chesterton's offense, they have a new quarterback in there. The starter got hurt, and they have a backup quarterback playing for that starter. And with a backup quarterback, the style of play for the offense can change. And the thing is about going into a game with a backup quarterback, you want to take the pressure off the backup quarterback. Maybe run the ball a good bit, and they have run the ball efficiently. But one of the main things is taking the pressure off the quarterback and not necessarily throwing them into the fire with them running the offense. But for Chesterton, they ran the ball pretty efficiently, and they relied heavily on their run game, especially with the backup quarterback in there. But their run game kind of got stagnant as the game went along. But on the defensive side of the ball, they held their own against Maryville's dynamic offense, and things just sort of got away from them in the second quarter. But their special teams has done pretty good as they had a block punt earlier in the game for a touchdown. So I sort of give Chesterton's grade for the first half, maybe they had a C or so. But shifting to Maryville, Maryville has a very dynamic offense. They have a very good running back. They have talent all over the offensive side of the ball. And their offense sort of struggled in the beginning, and they've had a lot of missed opportunities with bad throws by the quarterback and drop passes from the receivers. But they sort of got things going as the game went along, especially in the second quarter, and their pass game improved. And with their offense, they run a lot of run pass option plays, or RPOs as they're called, and they were pretty successful on that. Defensively, they played pretty well, sort of keeping Chesterton's running game at bay. They have a really talented running back as well. But I think the first half is pretty good at the moment. But for Chesterton, they got to play more inspired. Just like my hoodie says, I don't know if y'all can see that. They got to play more inspired. They sort of seem sort of just not that energetic. So I would like to see them sort of get a little bit more amped up, so to speak. But it's been a pretty good game so far, and that was a pretty good first half. Maryville was coming into this game 7-1, I believe, and Chesterton was coming into this game 5-2 or 5-3. I want to say 5-3, but been a little bit of back and forth between both teams. But Maryville is leading them right now. Like I said before, they are winning 16-6. So if Maryville can sort of keep their offensive drives going, and when I say offensive drives, I mean, having these long drives, but also getting something out of those long drives and scoring points, because you don't want to have a bunch of long drives chewing out the clock, which is a good thing running down the clock. But if you're going to have those long drives, you got to have something good come out of it. You don't want to have a long drive, 60 yards, 70 yards, and then come up with nothing having to punt or just turning the ball over. So again, like I was saying earlier, for Maryville, they've had a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of drop passes, and things just had to get better from them. I was watching the game and I'm like, they got to do better offensively, from an analyst standpoint, of course. But their offensive game did improve. Receivers were catching the ball more, so they've done well with that. But Chesterton has had some drop passes as well. And again, the Trojans of Chesterton, they have a backup quarterback in there. So, with a backup quarterback, sometimes they kind of look like a deer in headlights. They're just like, oh man, thrown into the fire, like, here we go, here we go. But for a lot of football players, once you get those first couple of plays in, things start to calm down a little bit and slow down a little bit. And I think that Chesterton's quarterback has sort of settled in. But then again, their offense has to play better. They can't just rely on their run game the whole time, especially when the defense knows they have a really good run game and they're going to sort of be prioritizing stopping the run. So I would like to see some more passes from the Trojans. If I'm Maryville and I'm up 16-6, I want to keep everything going. I want to keep the momentum going. I don't want to stop. I don't want to get stagnant. I don't want to be lackluster. I want to keep scoring more points. And I feel like with their offense, they're more than capable of scoring more points in the game. And I feel like the reason why they don't have more points is because of all the missed opportunities like drop passes, bad throws, penalties, and all those sorts of things. But again, if I'm them, I want to keep the momentum going, and I'm trying to score more points and more points and more points. More points is possible for any team, of course, to win the game. But with that and with them having an offense, I think I would run the ball some more too. They have a really talented running back, but they haven't really got going during the game. Their running back hasn't really gotten going during the game, so I would definitely feed the running back more, especially as talented as they are. But for Chesterton, they're going to have to sort of figure out their whole situation on offense. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if it's them just having a new quarterback in the game, and that's why things haven't looked as good as they could be. But from offensive standpoint, they're going to have to figure it out. I think they did pretty well passing the ball earlier, so I would like to see some more of that. But again, they do have a backup quarterback in there, so it might be taking some more time to get settled in. But I think the more the game goes along, the better it'll be. With the backup quarterback coming in the game, yes, they're kind of being thrown into the fire in a sense, but like I was saying before, take the pressure off of them, run the ball, have simple throws, and I feel like they've done a pretty good job of that. I would like to see some more screen plays, some more out routes being thrown, or even just short passes in general, just to sort of get the quarterback in a rhythm. And so I think, for QBs at every level, having a rhythm is a good thing, especially at the high school level, college level, professional level, whatever. Just in general, quarterback having a good rhythm is a positive thing for an offense. And I feel like Chesterton is definitely going to have to get that going for them. But their defense has to play a bit better, especially their secondary. Again, like I was saying before, Maryville could have had more points and they could have had some more touchdowns, but again, missed opportunities with the drop passes and just not the best passes. Now, granted, Maryville's quarterback has thrown some good passes, but a lot of where the missed opportunities came is with those, the bad passes and the drops and all those sorts of things. But Chesterton's secondary is going to have to step it up. They're going to have to step it up. They almost had an interception earlier in the game, which was a really good play by the defensive back, but they're going to have to keep it up. And they got to get pressure on Maryville's quarterback. They haven't gotten much pressure on Maryville's quarterback. Maryville's quarterback has been in the pocket majority of the game and just having time to throw, while Chesterton's quarterback has been running outside of the pocket numerous times. So they got to do better.